Today I'm doing a review of the TNT airsoft barrel for the KJW KC02 sniper rifle. I'm going to be installing the 510mm barrel and doing some testing with it to give you guys some results.
So first and foremost, you're going to need a number 3 and a number 4 Allen key. You can see that. You can see that. You want it directly in the center. Once you have those two bolts out, you can basically go ahead and just slide your whole main assembly out. And what you're basically left with is your body with all your components, your barrel, outer barrels and stuff like that. Take your number 3 and you want to unscrew your hop up first, but be careful because there's a spring and actually I think it's like a brass fitting in there, a little tiny brass fitting. Give you another close up of that. That's gonna pop out once you take this rail off. Like I said, the brass fitting and there's the screw, the spring. So I just usually just try to put it back in there as much as possible. That you can take out. Again, this one's a number 3. What you're left with is your barrel, obviously where your bucking goes, your whole fitting, chamber, and everything like that. Now, this is actually an RA Tech barrel on here, which I actually really like, but the problem is I can't find a good bucking for it. So again, TNT put a whole system together, boom, which is going to be awesome, and I'll unpackage that in a second as well. So a little trick that I saw on some other videos of people taking this apart, which is much appreciated. Their videos are better than mine. I'm just doing this for a review, and they make another one to make it easier. Leave it in the actual housing, and then you can just turn the wrench like just slightly, and that'll turn that like brass fitting off right there. It makes it a lot easier than if you're trying to hold it like this. So this is sort of like a natural other pivot point. This baby, I'm pretty excited about this. Comes in a cool box, sort of like a triangle, and what you have inside is basically your 510 or 370 depending on what you want. I'm just going to give you a shot of that again. So you can see it's a 603 precision barrel, 500mm barrel. So this is my first time looking at it myself, so sort of cool. This bucking, so I'm going to compare this for you actually to the stock bucking and the RA Tech. Actually, this is not the RA Tech, the Falcon bucking. So you can see this one is just sort of flat, doesn't really have a nub on the top of it. So hopefully you can see that. This one has a slighter nub on the top, but like I said, the pressure point on the inside was just pretty horrible, so it just sent it flying like in a pretty horrible direction. So this thing actually has a much bigger substantial point in which you would press down with that. It's much higher, so it makes that screw that's too short for the stock one, which you can fix by doing some other stuff, but this is much better. It's a pretty tight fit, so I'm actually just going to put some oil on this, some silicone oil, just to lube it up to make it slip in there a little bit better. So it's a good note. again, this is my first time putting this in, so I didn't know that either. Let's see if I can just sort of... Oh, there we go. Alright, putting a little silicone oil, just slid it in there. Nice and easy, so you can see the bucking right on top there. It's like super, super, super nubby. I take your outer barrel, and this is the first time I'm going to fit this, so hopefully it'll slide in there nicely. And awesome, it doesn't come out the other end, which I had already measured, but you never know with airsoft stuff. It just sort of sometimes just doesn't work, as pretty much everybody can probably tell up there or out there. So you just want to get these started. One thing you want to do though is, my opinion, other people have other opinions on it, you want to sort of make sure that this is really lined up when you screw this back in, because the top bolts depend on it being in place. So if you tighten this down and it's really not in place, you may have a hard time putting in the top screws. And again, I use a screwdriver type deal just because it's a lot easier to get that back in there. Alright, tighten that down. So that's good now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this back over. Careful not to let those out again. Oh, this one keeps coming out. Screw right here. If you can see that, that spring right there, you want to just sort of lay it in there. And you can sort of feel it when it clicks in place, just because of that piece right there. That's going to give you the tension, the back tension on the hop-up screw. So once you tighten these down, it's just a good idea just to sort of rack it back and bring it forward, just to make sure that you have no play in there. And then this should have spring to it, which it does. So you make sure, that's how you can tell sort of that it's back in there. Now you want to put your hop-up screw back in there. This back in. Make sure this is sort of, I don't know, it can be a pain in the ass sometimes. So just want to make sure that these again are sort of lined up, and that your sort of safety is right in the middle, and this should just drop right in there like that. So remember, short screw on the top. I always put that one in first just because it's easier. Switch from number 3 to the number 4. Just gonna get that till it's snug. I don't want to tighten it too much, so I can get the bottom one in as well. Put that one in. Again, they both have a washer on them. I lost one of them, so just be careful with that. Okay, so that's good. Come back up on top. Ratchet that down tight. Make sure the gun's still working properly. So that is your install of your TNT 510 millimeter barrel and your KJW KC02.
Hey everybody, so Chuck from New England Assault Team or Global Assault Team, depending on what coast you're on. So I'm done with the KJW KC02 and installed that TNT 510 millimeter barrel and bucking system into it. So my results are awesome. You know, I have a picture in another video that I'll pop up here. There was plenty of room, you know, to go in the hop-up system, and I already saw hop.
That is how much space I have with a 3.2 gram BB still to go, and it's already adding hop.
The one thing I noticed was that I had to actually increase the weight of my BB. When I had 2.8s, there was every once in a while a shot would go a little bit sporadic just because of the force coming out of that 510 millimeter barrel. As soon as I switched to 3.2s, it was absolutely perfect. 3.0s would probably work great too. It was right on. You know, with the stock bucking, it just doesn't work. I had the Falcon bucking. It took a 90-degree right turn at like 130 feet and would just overhop like crazy. So, you know, that just didn't work for me. This system, $110 with the 510 millimeter barrel and the bucking, installed it, super easy, and the results are awesome. I know that I'm going to be able to reach out so much further than I was before, so I'm going to try to hit 300 feet this week. You know, when I go to the local field, I'm going to get there a little bit early and do some testing. So I'll try to do a follow-up video to see if I actually can hit 300 feet and let everybody know how accurate it actually is and how far it can go. But great job, TNT. You're a lifesaver for people with KC02s. It works awesome. Nothing but great things, you know, from the 4 magazines that I actually dropped through it, so about 100 BBs. And, you know, like I said, it worked awesome. So I hope this review helps people, you know, and solves your problems and wanting your KC02 to actually be a sniper rifle and not having a barrel and bucking combo that will actually do it, that you can actually find somewhere. So again, great job, TNT. It's awesome. Really appreciate it. And hope everybody enjoyed it. Talk to you later.